I never thought I'd find myself standing at the edge of a life I'd built for decades, holding everything in my hands, only to ask if I was about to throw it all away. Not for money, not for fame, not even for love, but for my son. And because of who he loves. This was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. After years of grinding through hard times, raising a child on my own, and clawing my way out of poverty, I was finally about to marry someone I loved. But just weeks before the wedding, my fiancée looked me in the eyes and told me that my son couldn't bring his boyfriend to the ceremony because she didn't want her parents to know he was gay. I know, it sounds unreal, like something from a movie that you think can't be real in 2025, but it was very real. And I stood there wondering if this whole love story needed to end right there. Let me tell you everything. I became a father at 15. Let that sink in. I was just a kid, still in school. No idea what I was doing. But there he was. My son. My responsibility. My entire world. By 18, I was raising him alone. No partner. No financial cushion. Just me. 2 jobs. And a baby boy who needed someone to show up every single day. There were nights I went to bed hungry. Times I had to skip meals so he wouldn't have to. I worked. I hustled. I did whatever I had to do just to keep our heads above water. There was no roadmap, no safety net, but there was love. So much love. And somehow, we made it. We clawed our way forward. Today, I own my own gym. I built it from the ground up. My son's 22 now. He's in college, smart as hell, and works full-time with me at the gym. He's everything I ever hoped he'd be. When he came out to me at 14, I didn't hesitate. I told him I loved him, that he was perfect, that there was nothing he could ever do to make me love him less. We didn't always have it easy, but we had each other. And when he started dating his boyfriend at 18, I was there. I got to know the guy. I saw how he treated my son, how he made him laugh, how they looked at each other like they saw the rest of their lives together. It made me proud. It made me hopeful. So when I met the woman I'm now engaged to, I thought I had finally reached the other side. She's kind, beautiful, from a deeply religious family, but she'd always treated my son with warmth, or at least I thought she had. In 2 years of dating, she never once expressed any discomfort. She met his boyfriend, smiled, asked questions, never a hint of judgment. Until one day, that all changed. We were going over the wedding guest list, just ironing out details. I mentioned that my son would be bringing his boyfriend, and that's when she said it. I don't want your son's boyfriend at the wedding, and I don't want my parents to find out your son is gay. They'll have a complete fit. At first, I thought I misheard her. I actually asked her to repeat it. She looked me dead in the eyes and said it again. She said it like it was just a matter of fact, like it was a minor thing. Like asking someone to not wear white to a wedding, except this wasn't about a dress code. This was about asking my son to erase himself for the sake of someone else's comfort. I froze. She kept talking, rambling on about how her parents were very traditional, how they believed certain things, how they wouldn't understand, that it would ruin the day, that she wanted the wedding to be perfect, that this would just be for one day, that I was being selfish, overdramatic, selfish. That word felt like a slap. Because when you've raised a child with no help, when you've worked 2 shifts and still showed up to every parent-teacher conference, every basketball game, every college tour, being called selfish for protecting your kid? It burns. I told her no. I told her I would not ask my son to hide who he is. Not now. Not ever. That he would be the best man at my wedding, and that his boyfriend would be standing beside him, as it should be. It's my wedding too, I said. I want him there. All of him. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She went silent. Didn't speak to me for a full day. And after that, she never brought it up again. But the silence said enough. I could feel it, the tension beneath the surface, the unspoken message. She still expected me to fold, to come around, to eventually ask my son to be a version of himself that was palatable to her family's belief system. I couldn't shake the feeling. It sat in my chest like a stone. What would happen in the future? Would my son have to leave his boyfriend behind every Thanksgiving? Every Christmas? If he ever gets married, God willing, would she ask me not to attend? Would I be asked to pretend he didn't exist? Or worse, that he was someone else entirely? This wasn't about one day. It was about a lifetime. I told my brother what was happening, hoping for clarity, support, something. Instead, he told me I was being the asshole, that it really was just one day, that my son was an adult, that he wouldn't be interacting much with her parents anyway, so it didn't matter. But it did matter, because just one day becomes another day, and another, and another, until your child stops showing up at all. I could see it so clearly, the wedge being driven between my son and me, the look in his eyes if I told him he wasn't welcome to bring the person he loved to my wedding, the betrayal. And I couldn't do it. I won't do it. My son is not a footnote in my life. He is my life. I told my fiancée that I couldn't marry into a family that would discriminate against him, that I wouldn't spend my life making excuses for people who refused to see him. And if she couldn't stand with me on this, truly stand with me, then maybe she wasn't the right person to stand beside me at the altar. I haven't called the wedding off yet, but I'm close. So, am I the asshole? This story isn't just about a wedding. It's about who we choose to protect. It's about the moments that define us, not in public, but in private. In quiet conversations where no one's watching. In the choices we make when we know they might cost us something. It's about a father who raised a son through fire and refused to let the world extinguish the flame he worked so hard to keep alive. What we tolerate, what we let slide, becomes the blueprint for the future. And sometimes, love means choosing the harder road, the lonelier one, the one where people call you selfish, or dramatic, or too much. But it's also the road where integrity lives, where unconditional love lives, and where your child looks at you years later and says, "Thank you for never asking me to hide." So we ask you, our listeners, our community, what would you do? Would you cancel the wedding? Would you risk love to defend something deeper? And most importantly, what is the cost of staying silent? Let us know in the comments. This has been AITA Story Vault. And remember, the stories we share may be uncomfortable, but they're always real. We'll see you in the next one.